Hello, welcome to the 2020 Veterans Day event. I am Trey Lawson and this is Pearson Allen. We are the co-founders of WarHorses for Heroes.
We want to welcome all of you to our picnic once again. I know that we have to do things a little bit differently this year, but that's 2020 for you. Later you're going to get to hear music from several bands, and we'd love it if you would vote for them at the end. There's also a silent auction that will be open until midnight. After this you'll be hearing from Doug, one of our primary volunteers who's been with the program for several years now, and will be telling you all about his experiences with WarHorses. Once again, please remember to bid on silent auctions and items, and to also vote for your favorite bands at the end. Thank you. So let's get this event started. Below is the link to the silent auction. Please go on and bid on all of our wonderful items. Tonight you're going to listen to our wonderful bands, and you're going to also vote on your favorite band. Remember to vote and remember to check it out. The link for that is again below in the description. Please also remember that the silent auction items will be announced tomorrow, as will the winner of the Battle of the Bands.
Everybody saddle up and get ready. Our first band is on its way.
In the caravan, you're trying to figure out just who I am. Yeah, I'm riding in the caravan, you're trying to figure out just who I am. Said I'm running from it all. Say you're feeling good inside. Come a little closer, rub it up on me. Yeah, you say you're feeling good inside. Come a little closer, rub it up on me. But the highs and the lows.
Thank you, Grape. That was wonderful.
Hello everyone, my name is Jenny Haste. I came to WarHorses through a couple of different avenues. First of all, I am the wife of a 30-year Army veteran, and he served 6 different deployments, both stateside and overseas, including some hurricane relief efforts and including working at some headquarters during the Gulf War. He also went to Iraq and to Afghanistan. So I have a lot of experience as an Army family member, and I know the stresses and the challenges of military life for families and for the veterans when they return home. During Robert's Afghanistan deployment, my daughter Jessica and I actually became involved at Oakview Stables as riding students. We started taking lessons at Oakview, and it became a great source of stress relief to me when Robert was deployed. So maybe about 3 or 4 years after he recovered from his Afghanistan journey, WarHorses for Heroes started up at Oakview Stables. It was founded by Trey Lawson, who's one of the barn owners and trainers, and his best friend, Pearson Allen. I immediately was interested in what they were doing. I had been not only a lesson student at the barn, but also volunteered to help with cleanup and feeding horses and setting up for horse shows and other events. I had made a lot of friends at Oakview, and it was sort of a natural follow-on to get involved with WarHorses. So when the sessions started, I immediately got involved with helping meet the veterans, helping teach them how to groom, and walking either the horses or walking alongside as a sidewalker during some of the sessions. Since then, I have gone back to work full-time, so my time during the week at Oakview is limited to after-school hours. And unfortunately, that takes me out of participating in most of the mounted sessions. But I'm still a very willing volunteer. My husband and I both serve on the board of directors and help with fundraising and other events. During some of the sessions, it was really interesting to watch the veterans arrive at the barn, and they would arrive and go through sort of a check-in process to gather information about their interest and kind of what their goals were. Most of them were involved in an inpatient treatment program at the VA. They either had physical injuries or mental health injuries that they were dealing with. But they would come in the barn, and you could kind of tell from their body language how interested they were, whether they were just here for the outing, whether some of them were really gung-ho to get on a horse, or whether some of them were a little nervous and apprehensive. But we offered each one of them, and still do, offer them the chance to say exactly what they were willing to try, and 2 veterans in particular stick out in my mind. One was a big 6-foot-tall guy who was clearly nervous about getting on a horse, but very interested in it. And so when he got on at the mounting block, we do the same thing with all the veterans. We help them get in the saddle, we adjust their stirrups, we tell them we're gonna have the horse take 2 or 3 steps forward, and then we'll stop and talk to them and kind of reassess how they're feeling, and talk to them a little bit about how the horse moves. And at that point, he was still willing to try it, but you could tell he was still very nervous. His body was very tense. And so we told him, at any point, just give us the word and we'll ask the horse to stop, and you can readjust or you can reevaluate what we're doing. So we started walking slowly around the indoor of the barn where we do the mounted sessions. And the further we walked, the more he talked and the more he began to relax. And really after about 10 minutes, he was having the time of his life. It was really fun to see that transformation. you know, he had clearly been through quite a lot in his military career, and he was really enjoying the novelty and the chance to challenge himself to overcome that fear, and I think it really helped him that day. Another veteran that will always stick out in my mind was a female veteran who came in the barn using a walker to navigate her way in. And after she did her check-in routine, she was immediately interested in the horse that we had in the grooming stall. She wanted to come over and immediately start brushing on the horse. So she parked her walker right by the picnic table inside the barn by the mounting block and worked her way fairly steadily back to the grooming stall and started asking questions and grooming and helping, and was so excited. And when it was her turn to get in the saddle, she was just lit up like a Christmas tree. She was so happy, and all she could talk about was how she wanted to come out and do this every week, and she really hoped that she could find a way to keep it up. But she came back in the summer and did some volunteer work and helped at some sessions, and she was just so enthusiastic, and you could tell that she had some knowledge of horses from a prior time in her life, and it just really meant something to her to be able to experience that. And it was great therapy. It was good therapy for us too.
Okay.
Another aspect of WarHorses that's very important to me is the fact that we're helping veterans overcome a time in their life when they maybe had some physical challenges, maybe had some mental challenges, and then they had to come back to, quote unquote, the real world, come back home and find a way to readjust to life outside their military unit. And one thing that has been in the news a lot over the last few years is that there are a lot of mental health challenges for veterans. There's an alarming statistic out there that 20 veterans a day are known on average to commit suicide in the US. I actually rechecked that statistic, and it's still right around that level. It's been that way for about the last 3 to 4 years. It may have started to decrease a little bit. I know that there are more programs throughout the nation that are trying to address it, but it's a subject near and dear to my heart. So my feeling is if we can help even a few of the hundreds of veterans who've come through our program make a better start, find a way to adjust to being back in their non-military life and find a new career, find a new path, find some peace of mind, then everything we're doing is worth it, because it's a real need and a real problem out there. Needless to say, 2020 has been a challenging year in many ways for a lot of people, and we're very excited at the prospect of trying to start up some individual sessions again, and that we have lots of volunteers interested in and who've been coming to do training to help facilitate new sessions. Thank you very much for watching, and I hope that you'll enjoy the picnic on Sunday with the Battle of the Bands.
All right, the next band is on its way. We're getting ready to rock and roll. Enjoy this music.
Trying to find the clothes that might make you look thin. Another hour painting powder diamonds on your skin. Look at you, you're gorgeous, but in your eyes you seem unsure. Take a minute to look into the mirror and say, damn, I'm sexy. Take a minute to say that to yourself, because girl, you are so fine. because girl, you are so fine. Take a minute to look into the mirror and say, damn, I'm sexy. Take a minute to say that to yourself because girl, you are so fine. Trying to find the clothes that might make you look thin. Another hour painting powder diamonds on your skin. Look at you, you're gorgeous, but in your eyes you seem unsure. Take a minute to look into the mirror and say, damn, I'm sexy. Take a minute to say that to yourself because girl, you are so fine. Take a minute to look into the mirror and say, damn, I'm sexy. Take a minute to say that to yourself because girl, you are so fine.
That was a great performance by Zigadoo Money Clips. Up next, let's hear from our veteran, Doug Fugit.
My name is Doug Fugit, and I'm ex-U.S. Army. I was a crew chief door gunner in Vietnam. And you know, it's been kind of strange. A lot of my PTSD that I ended up suffering didn't come for years later. I was very involved in work and building companies and various aspects of my life. So it didn't beset me until much later in my life. And when I retired, I started having problems. My wife had told me for years that I was waking up screaming and many things like that, but I really didn't believe her or didn't think it was the extent it was. Finally, she encouraged me, and I did go into the VA for a in-house therapy. The PTSD program is normally anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So you've been boxed up there for a long time, and to get out and get around openness and the farm, and strangely, some vets don't care too much about riding, though most do. They do care an awful lot about being around farm animals, and we have chickens and dogs and cats and barn cats, and there's just a variety of animals. Ducks, don't let me forget the ducks. You know, when these guys get off, and normally I meet the vets as they pull up in the van and push a big welcome. The fact that I'm a vet kind of immediately settles them, and we're on the same foot. They're my brothers and sisters. But you can tell there's a little tension. There's, you know, even and eventually, if you could see the difference in their faces when they leave, they're all happy, smiling. They want to come back at that point. And it's been our great pleasure to now serve over 500 vets. And it's been a continual growth program. You know, there have been times when I have to adapt, and I have to watch these guys when they come off, and what inspires them, and what as I run them up on the mounting stand, talking to them, and I get a real good sense. One thing just comes to mind, mainly because it's been more recent than others. But I had a guy, and I normally give everybody a big brotherly hug, military hug, when they come in. And I had a guy that had been out before. He came kind of running to the front of the line, and he said, "Hey, the guy behind me doesn't like hugs. He doesn't, no touchy." And so I did. I just told him hello and let him walk on. That guy rode 3 times that day. Initially said he didn't want to ride at all, but he ended up riding 3 times that day. And right before, he was the last one to get in the van, and he gave me the biggest bear hug. I could hardly breathe. But it just goes to show you what an incredible experience is for many of these guys. There's something with working with horses, working with a big animal where you're a partner with them, that has just, it absolutely does wondrous things. I'd always been around dogs, and there's something about being around pets that have helped me with stress situations. But there was something special with the horses that happened to me, and voila, I've been here over 4 years now, and I have always felt compelled to work with other vets. So in my retirement, that's what I'm doing. We'd like to thank you for participating today in our program to whatever extent you have. I can tell you that WarHorses has made a tremendous difference in my life and in hundreds of other vets' lives. So whether it's through donations or volunteering or sponsoring horses, or we have a long list of items that you could participate with us in, and we just want to thank you all. And I would like to ask all of you to participate in our online auction. We have a lot of things on there that have been sponsored and would mean an awful lot to us. Thank you for all being with us.
All right, so we wanted to give you an update of what's been happening in the year of COVID. So this year we've finished our bathroom. We've begun working on our personal office, on our offices for WarHorses. We've also had a ramp built that makes it more accessible for our veterans who are injured to get up onto horses. We have also installed a outside portable fencing system, which is going to allow us to actually start doing lessons outside for the first time. Normally we have to do them within the barn, but now we are starting to be able to do once the sessions can begin again, we're going to be doing them outside. Over the course of this year, as we sort of move towards hopefully a fully opening and integrating back into sort of a normal routine, we'll be able to continue working with veterans. This year we're also starting to begin working with veterans outside of just working with the VA, and starting to expand our program and grow. We are planning for it to hit the ground running as soon as we are able to open and begin working with veterans again. Thank you again for all of your support and all of your contributions. Without y'all's contributions and participation, none of this would ever be possible, and we are eternally grateful. Thank you.
Thank you.
Grab yourself a snack and enjoy the next band. It's coming right up.
days in the sun. Days go by, you're going my way. No regrets on what I've done. Days go by, dirt on the window. Straight ahead is all I see. Days go by, eyes on the horizon. All my life washes over me.
We, the human race, survive. Not because we are the most intelligent or even the meanest, but because we have always been the craziest, most murderous bastards in the whole damn jungle.
Days go by, sun go down the highway, all about my days in the sun. Days go by, you're going my way, no regrets on what I've done. Days go by, dirt on the window, straight ahead is all I see. Days go by, eyes on the horizon, all my life washes over me.
Somewhere between the azure skies of Eden and the Patagonian wastelands, all that survives is the will to survive. Sleep through the day, hunt in the night, and scavenge the wastelands of sanity somewhere in between.
Days go by, sun go down the highway, all about my days in the sun. Days go by, you're going my way, no regrets on what I've done. Days go by, dirt on the window, straight ahead is all I see. Days go by, eyes on the horizon, all my life washes over me.
Here, between the metaphysical and the transcendental forms of meditation, the incipital implication of the norm, the continuing question of if arises. If there was no gravity, monkeys would never fall from the trees. Go figure.
Days go by, I go down the highway, all about my time in the sun. Days go by, you're going my way, no regrets on what I've done. Days go by, dirt on the window, straight ahead is all I see. Days go by, eyes on the horizon, all my life washes over me.
You stand before me, the first flowers of spring. I stand before you, the last cold breath of winter. All that lies between are just days gone by.
Thank you, Greenleaf. That was a wonderful performance.
Now we're going to get an opportunity to meet Jeb, one of our war horses that carries our veterans around in all the sessions.
For those of you who don't know, this is Jeb. He's our war horse working in our veterans program. He's helped a lot of folks with their PTSD, and we're very proud to have him on our team. He even agrees with me. Jeb is a Tennessee walking horse. He says it's impolite to ask about his age, but he is a mature gentleman. He can be ridden Western, English, side saddle, backwards if you need to, but he's game for all of the above. And now we have a special presentation by Rolling Thunder, the Missing Man ceremony.
I'd like to thank WarHorses for Heroes for inviting Rolling Thunder's Chapter 1 and 2 out today and giving us the opportunity to present the Flame of Freedom and the Missing Man table ceremonies. Being escorted to introduce the flame will be Kathy Johnston, a Blue Star mom whose son, Major Chris Johnston, is currently serving in the United States Air Force in the Aggressor Squadron as an F-16 fighter pilot stationed at Nellis Air Base, Las Vegas, Nevada. Escorting her today are President of Rolling Thunder, Mississippi Chapter 2, David Mullen, and Navy veteran Don Lawler. Today the candle is being lit by a special light. For hundreds of years, the light in the distance has represented hope. The flickering in the distance of the light high atop the lighthouse tells of nearing land in a heavy fog. The dim light of a front porch says, "Come inside to the warmth of home." And let us not forget the lantern of Paul Revere riding through the streets to warn that the British were coming. There was a long time ago that our forefathers fought to provide us with freedom. Then came other wars, fought to preserve those freedoms. Today, we fight to protect that freedom. The flame is a symbol. It lights the way home for our brothers and sisters in arms. It is here today to tell everyone the soldier stands with pride and honor to keep us free and to keep this light burning to show the way home. The light does not cast a shadow, for its sole purpose is to send the message of hope and to let everyone know we will never forget. The table that sits before you is a symbol of faith and hope, a place waiting undisturbed until the soldier returns. The flame will light this table as long as the table sits empty. This ceremony is to remember our nation's heroes, those that swore on their lives to protect our values and defend our nation. We do it to honor and to remember them, for they are not with us. I call your attention to this table, which is round, to show our everlasting concern for all prisoner of war and missing in action, so that we may remember. The chairs are empty, for they are not here, though we ever hope for their return. Remember. The tablecloth, which is white, stands for purity and their willingness to answer our country's call to arms, so that future generations will remain free. Remember. The candle reminds us of the light of hope that lives in our hearts to light the way home, a way back to a grateful nation. The yellow ribbon on the candle symbolizes an unyielding determination to account for all our missing warriors who are not among us today. Remember. The single red rose represents the bloodshed and the lives lost in service to our country. The red ribbon on the vase represents the family and friends who keep the faith and demand a proper accounting of all our missing. Remember. The slice of lemon on the plate to remind us of the bitter loss if we do not bring them home. Remember. The salt on the table symbolizes the tears shed by families as they wait and remember. The Bible represents strength achieved through faith, helping to sustain those lost from our country, founded as one nation under God. Remember. United States Army. Chief Sergeant Jerry William Elliott of Greenville, Mississippi, went missing in action on January 21, 1968 in South Vietnam. A door gunner for the 282nd Assault Helicopter Company, Elliott was left behind after exiting his helicopter to assist a downed helicopter, taking on intense fire at point-blank range. United States Marine. Major Charles Franklin Wallace of Ellisville, Mississippi, was killed in action. Body never recovered on August 28, 1967 in North Vietnam. Wallace was serving as a Marine pilot with the 121st Attack Squadron. The aircraft exploded during a bombing run, providing direct air support when hit by hostile fire. United States Navy. Commander Carroll Owen Crane Jr. of Memphis, Tennessee, went missing in action on March 8, 1967. A pilot in the 7th Fleet Heavy Active Attack Squadron aboard the USS Kitty Hawk on a strike mission crashed on land after the crew was notified to delay 10 minutes. Contact was lost when the aircraft was 15 minutes off the coast of Vietnam near the city of Ron. United States Air Force Major Thomas Waring Bennett Jr. of Natchez, Mississippi, went missing in action on December 22, 1972. A pilot in the bomber wing of Strategic Air Command when his plane was shot down by a surface-to-air missile during a night strike mission over Hanoi. United States Coast Guard, Petty Officer 3rd Class, Specialty Radioman, Cecil V. Bratu of Mississippi, went missing in action on April 3, 1942 off the coast of Salem, Massachusetts. Bratu, while flying from Salem on anti-submarine patrol against German U-boats, crashed in the Atlantic Ocean. A wingtip was recovered, but not the crew. The wine glass is inverted, representing the fact that the missing and falling cannot partake. Remember. Please join us now as we bow our heads in a moment of silence to honor all of our POW MIA comrades. As you look upon this empty table, remember our heroes. Remember how we depend on them each and every day. They depend on us to bring them home. Remember. We would like to thank WarHorses for Heroes for inviting us here today, as well as all of you who are joining us online for our ceremony. As each year passes, finding our missing becomes harder and harder. Some witnesses may die, forget where a plane went down, or where a service member was shot, killed, or captured. The ground where they lay can erode, or their bones may just crumble and disappear. The longer they are missing, the easier it is to forget. Only with our action can we bring our nation's heroes back to the forefront of everyone's thoughts and prayers. Chapters 1 and 2 of Rolling Thunder, Mississippi take great pride and honor in presenting this ceremony. We would like to issue a personal challenge to each and every one of you The challenge for you to be the one who remembers.
Okay, there's one last band here now. After this, you get to vote. Please listen to the song and enjoy it.
Pick the right one.
Grew up under a South Korean sun. Flame of the morning was born to run. And ain't it amazing how quickly her story would change? On her way to a new life with a different name. That recoilless rifle was heavy and it was loud. First time she heard it, she jumped clear off the ground. And to say she was brave could just barely begin to describe that little red mare packing ammo out to the front lines. Ooh, reckless. We stand together and honor the life that you lived. You were strong and fearless. So raise 'em high, yeah, I'd sympathize. Ooh, reckless. Seeing you standing up proud in your scarlet gold. All of your glory, we want you to know that we'll always remember your bold and beautiful heart. So here's to you, reckless, wherever you are. Ooh, reckless. We stand together and honor the life that you lived. You were strong
Thank you, Templeton Thompson. That was an excellent song.
If you wish to donate more, please select a way to donate. We have multiple ways of donating, including just cash donations, but varying sponsorships, whether it is a horse or a session or any number of things. Please check out our website. We would very much appreciate any and all contributions you could give. One of our horses, Jeb, has already been sponsored for this year, but we still have 2 other horses that need sponsorship. Please, please, we would love for you to log on and donate for sponsorship for a horse, either partial or as a whole. You can get your friends together and sponsor a horse for the year. Please also check out our donation button. We have a variety of donations, how often and how much you want to contribute. Any and all is helpful, and every single dime goes to help our veterans. Thank you again for all of your donations in the past and for attending our event. We very much appreciate your attendance. Please remember to vote for your favorite band, bid on your favorite auction items, and once again, we hope to see you next year in person at the 2021 Veterans Day Picnic event.
Thank you all again, and have a great evening.